The function of the mind is to make distinctions, which is what it is to make predications, including those of existence and non-existence. That is, that there even is or is not an object here to be cognized, about which some predications might be made. It is fundamentally a faculty of dividing. It divides itself from the objects before it, reifying both, and simultaneously separates out the objects from one another, identifying them as this or that, and cognizing various characteristics inherent in them by which to distinguish them. Where it makes a border, it posits a determinate thing within the border. The act of cognition is here regarded in a way very consistent with indigenous Chinese epistemological theories. Knowing is a skill in dividing things out of a larger context. Where there is no dividing, there is no thing. To be aware of a thing is here not conceived according to the metaphor of a receiving of an impression, or the lighting up of what was in darkness, or a clearing away of a blockage. It is not a kind of disclosing or illuminating, not a revealing or a reception, but rather a dividing. Where there is any quiddity or characteristic of any kind, there is a distinction, a parsing, a forming of boundaries between this and another. Without this bordering, no characteristics can exist. But things do not border themselves. It is a particular biased perspective and cognitive apparatus of a sentient being that decides to divide up the world in one way or another, setting the limits to how much of the given counts as this thing and how much as that thing, where things begin and end. This is what constitutes the world of shapes, colors, entities, characteristics. When contemplating mind, then, where is mind to be found? Mind cannot directly be an object of mind. By mind contemplation, the attentiveness to, say, the stream of words and emotions through one's interior monologue is not meant. These are mental objects, not the distinguishing functions of mind as subject and perceiver. All these things are distinguishable, are perceivable. Hence, all belong to the realm of objects. Rather, wherever one notices a characteristic of any kind, any sort of definitive presence, one is to see the activity of mind. The greenness of green, the redness of red, the bookness of book, the spaciness of space, these are mind. And this mind is not the pure mind, but the diluted mind, the mind that makes arbitrary and biased distinctions. This diluted mind is the creator of all particular things, including the Buddha. And it is this diluted mind that is to be the object of contemplation in Tiantai practice. But delusion in Tiantai means partial truth, not pure illusion. And further, by the three truths, that each partial truth is, on the one hand, completely false in the sense of failing to correspond to anything in reality, but also, on the other hand, definitely pragmatically useful in overcoming attachments, including the attachment to itself. In some contexts, and further, therefore, a revelation of the absolute and complete unconditional truth. Mind creates deludedly because it is conditional and partial itself, situated in a certain way, predisposed in a certain way. I do not see the red of this flower as an ant crawling on it would see it, or as a bee coming to pollinate it would see it. What I see here is determined by my cognitive apparatus, the structure of my sense organs, and the kind of framing and focusing I am involved in at the moment due to my preoccupations, the desire-oriented projection I am engaged in. I do not see the ultraviolet or infrared wavelengths that are present here, and so on. What I see is a small portion of what is actually present. As Zonran said about the color seen by the ordinary human eye, it is not an ex nihilo mirage, but a narrowing down of what is really there to yield a very partial picture. By being here and being what I am, structured and disposed as I am right now, I create the phenomenal appearances that are manifesting to me. On the other hand, I do not create these determinancies out of thin air, based on nothing real. They are indeed a part of the real, but a part of the real seen without reference to all its relevant contexts is not exactly what the same part would appear to be if seen together with all relevant contexts. We have here, again, the selecting out process we've seen in earlier Chinese thought. Delusion here means, quote, deemed to be definitively same or different, close quote, when in fact the reality before is both same and different. That is to say, is such that the mutually exclusive categories of sameness and different do not accurately represent it.